Documents show other Democrats, not just Clintons, on Russian payroll. Uranium One scandal threatens to bring down the entire Democratic Party. While the mainstream media continues to obsess over Paul Manafort and General Michael Flynn's supposed Russian collusion, quote, totally ignored are the ties Tony Podesta, the brother of Hillary's 2016 presidential campaign chairman, John Podesta, had to both Uranium One and to Sberbank, Moscow's largest state-run bank with close ties to international terrorism and Russian President Vladimir Putin. They were both involved. As the Russians gained control of Uranium One in 3 separate transactions from 2009 through 2013, the Podesta Group was paid a total of $630,000 between 2010 and 2015 to represent Uranium One, the Russian-controlled firm with close financial ties to the Clinton Foundation that today controls 20% of the all U.S. uranium produced. Podesta ties to Russian money, Putin, and Russian clandestine operations. Among the revelations made public through the 11.5 million documents leaked by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists detailing the legal and financial arrangements behind secretive offshore banking transactions dating back to the 1970s was the disclosure Russia's largest bank, the state-owned Sberbank, used the Podesta Group as its registered lobbyist in Washington. Why not? Sberbank, a savings bank in Russia, engaged the Podesta Group to help its public image, leading Moscow financial institutions, not exactly being known for their propriety and wholesomeness, and specifically to help lift some of the pain of sanctions placed on Russia in the aftermath of the Kremlin's aggression against the Ukraine, which has caused real pain to the country's hard-hit financial sector, wrote former National Security Agency analyst and counterintelligence officer John R. Schindler in an article entitled "Panama Papers Revealed Clinton's Kremlin Connection," published by The Observer on April 7, 2016. It's hardly surprising that Sberbank sought the help of Democratic insiders like the Podesta Group to aid them in this difficult hour, since they clearly understand how American politics work. Schindler continued, "The question is why the Podesta Group took Sberbank's money," Schindler asked. "That financial institution isn't exactly hiding in the shadows. It's the biggest bank in Russia, and its reputation leaves a lot to be desired. Nobody acquainted with Russian finance was surprised that Sberbank wound up in the Panama Papers." Schindler noted that since the 1990s, Sberbank has grown to be Russia's dominant bank, controlling nearly 30% of Russia's aggregate banking assets and employing a 250,000 people. The majority stockholder in Sberbank in Russia's central bank, making Sberbank functionally an arm of the Russian government, though officially Sberbank is a private institution. Certainly, Western intelligence is well acquainted with Sberbank, noting its close relationship with Vladimir Putin and his regime. Funds moving through Sberbank are regularly used to support clandestine Russian intelligence operations, while the bank uses its offices abroad as a cover for the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service, or SVR, Schindler pointed out. A NATO counterintelligence official explained that Sberbank, which has outposts in almost 24 foreign countries, functions as a sort of arm of the SVR outside Russia, especially because many of its senior employees are former Russian intelligence officers inside the country. SureBank has an equally cozy relationship with the Federal Security Services, or FSB, Russia's powerful domestic intelligence agency. On April 17, 2014, the Moscow Times reported Ukraine opened criminal proceedings against SureBank and 13 other banks on suspicion of financing terrorism. Schindler noted the Ukraine criminal investigation concluded SureBank had distributed millions of dollars in illegal aid to Russian-backed separatists fighting in eastern Ukraine, with the bank serving as a witting supporter of Russian aggression against the Ukraine. On April 5, 2016, Lachlan Markay, reporting in the Washington Free Beacon, published the lobbying registration form the Podesta Group filed with the U.S. government, providing SureBank had contracted with the Podesta Group to advance their interests with banking, trade, and foreign relations. Markay further reported that according to the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, a consortium of journalists exploring the Panama Papers leak, SureBank and Troika Dialogue have ties to companies used by members of Putin's inner circle to funnel state resources into lucrative private investments. Some of these companies were initially connected to the Troika Dialogue Investment Fund, which was controlled and run by SureBank. After the bank bought the Troika Dialogue Investment Bank, Troika and SureBank declined to comment. Markay noted the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project concluded in a report published in April 2016. On March 30th, 2016, Politico reported the Podesta Group registered to lobby for the U.S. subsidiary of SureBank to see if relief could be obtained for the bank in the easing of U.S. sanctions against Russia for Russia's role in the Ukraine conflict. The Podesta Group and the Russian uranium scam. As first documented in Peter Schweizer's best-selling book, Clinton Cash, and confirmed in Jerome Corsi's best-selling book, Partners in Crime, the Clinton scheme to monetize the White House, Uranium One directed millions to the Clinton Foundation as the Russian government gained ownership of the company. New York Times reported Joe Becker and Mike McIntyre in an article entitled Cash Flowed to Clinton Foundation Amid Russian Uranium Deal, that the newspaper printed on April 23, 2015, documented the tie between the Russians and the Clinton Foundation as the Uranium One deal evolved. There you have it, and Podesta's in it. And when the lady, the newscaster on Fox Business, when she confronted him, he denied he had any, and he said, no, it's a U.S. based, and I had no idea it was. Are you kidding me? Lying, but these criminals are going to go down now. I mean, enough is enough at this point. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.